My name is Randy Nedegard, and I'm the MSW Program Coordinator at Fresno State. I want to talk to you about a few application tips that you might find useful when you're applying to our MSW program. The first application tip is to look at our MSW website. That can be found under the program, the MSW, the social work program website. You can find it very easily by typing in Fresno State Social Work into a web browser, and then there will be a tab for the MSW program. There's a lot of very useful information for you about our program. It talks about our prerequisites. There's information about what our program's all about. Gives you information about the types of courses that you'd be taking, the different part-time and full-time options, that sort of thing. It's important that you understand what you're getting into, because we want this to be a good fit for you if you're applying to this, not just to be a convenient location for you to be studying at. The second thing that I suggest that you do is when you pull up your application on Cal State Apply, that you read the entire application, then you complete the entire application. Don't miss anything. Everything's important. When we have your application, it's all we know about you typically. And so everything is taken into account, every little piece of that. And missing out on certain aspects of that can be pretty critical when all we know is what you put in your statement and what your references say about you, and then some of the demographic information and whatnot that gets put into that. So be sure that you go through everything very thoroughly, and that you complete it all. In terms of the what you write in your personal statement, we do have questions for you to answer. Be sure that you're thorough about that, and that you spend some time with that. This isn't something that you typically sit down and write a quick draft of and send in. In terms of references, one of the things that we run into is occasionally is that people put in their references, and they get to the very end and only one reference has submitted their materials at the end of the deadline. If that's the case, you have an incomplete application, and we can't accept your application. Everything has to be in, and everything has to be complete for us to be able to look at and review your application. If it's incomplete, you're going to miss this cycle. We understand that you can't control what your reference does. However, you can look in your application and see if your reference is submitted, their reference, and if your application is complete. And we recommend that you do that. And if your reference hasn't submitted their reference for you, then check with them and make sure that they've received it. Make sure that they know that they need to do it before the application deadline, because the last thing you want to do is go through the whole process of submitting and for whatever reason have that reference not submit on time, and you not be able to be looked at and considered for our program. The other thing is, if in the process of the whole application process, you end up moving, changing residency, changing phone numbers, any sort of change of contact information, be sure to update that, because as we get to the point where we're going to be reaching out to you and letting you know about acceptance into our program, we want to know that we're sending it to the right place and to the right contact information. So any changes with that, please be sure to keep that up to date. One other thing, people often consider more than one graduate program here at Fresno State. or more than one other graduate program period. But if you're looking at more than one graduate program here at Fresno State, please know that using Cal State Apply, you can only apply to one graduate program here at Fresno State. So if you're going to be applying to social work, you can only apply to social work here at Fresno State. You can't apply to both social work and psychology at the same time. So just know that you have to pick and choose. You can't apply to two at the same time. And then for those of you that are non-social work students, don't have your bachelor's in social work, you do have 3 prerequisites that you have to fulfill before you would start classes in the fall if you get selected. And to understand more about that, on our website, there is a specific prerequisites tab and prerequisites page that explains everything there is to do with prerequisites. And we'll probably have a little video that talks about prerequisites as well. So those are our pro tips for you in terms of your application.